Oh darling, gather round now. Lean in close because this one's gonna tug at your heartstrings right from the start. Imagine this, you're 58 years young, you've raised a fine son, kept a home filled with love and laughter for decades, buried a husband too soon, and now, you're locked out of your own bedroom. Yes, honey. Your own room. The one with the quilt your mama made. The photos of grandbabies on the dresser. The little space that's been yours since before your daughter-in-law ever walked through the door. My name's Eleanor, but folks call me Ellie. I never asked for much, just respect, a kind word, and the quiet dignity of growing older in the home I built with my own hands. But when my son brought his new wife Sarah into our lives, things changed. Slow at first. Little comments about old-fashioned ways. Then bigger ones. And one fateful evening, during what was supposed to be a happy family visit, I came upstairs after supper, tired from cooking their favorites, only to find my bedroom door shut tight. Locked. From the outside. And there slipped under the door like some cruel joke. The key. With the note. Genius, right? Now you can rest in the guest room. We need the space. My heart. It just dropped. My son? He laughed it off downstairs. Mom, it's just temporary. Sarah's stressed. Stressed. While I stood there, tears burning, feeling like a stranger in my own house. Ever wonder how far disrespect can go before a woman finally says enough? What if that locked door was the last straw? But the real genius was what came next. Stay with me, sweethearts. This story's about pain, betrayal, and the quiet power of a woman who's been pushed too far. You won't believe what happened when I decided to turn the tables. Now let's settle in, because this tale unfolds in 3 heavy acts of suffering that so many of us know too well. It started small like a crack in fine china. Sarah moved in after the wedding, and suddenly my kitchen wasn't modern enough. My recipes? Outdated. My son Mark, he'd always been my boy, the one who'd hug me after a long day. But now when I spoke, he'd glance at Sarah first. Mom, Sarah thinks we should. Every sentence ended that way. I swallowed it. Vidus do. We endure. I'd smile, cook anyway, fold laundry while they laughed in the living room. But one night I heard it clear as day, Sarah to Mark. Your mom's so clingy. She needs to give us space. My boy didn't defend me. He just chuckled. That chuckle. It cut deeper than any knife. Then came the family gatherings. Cousins, grandkids running wild. I'd offer my room for the little ones to nap, big mistake. Sarah started reorganizing. My things moved to the attic. It's cluttered, Ellie. We need room. I found my late husband's watch in a box. My heart raced. I said nothing. But the worst was the lock. They'd come for a week-long visit. I prepared the guest room, but Sarah insisted on the master, my master, for their privacy. I slept on the couch that first night. Then the second evening after I'd cleaned up their dishes, I went to change, and the door wouldn't budge. Locked. Key under the door. Sarah's voice from inside. It's genius, right? Now you have the whole downstairs. Mark. Mom, don't make a scene. It's temporary. Temporary. While I sat on the stairs, 58 years old, feeling invisible. Like my life, my home, my memories didn't matter anymore. I cried quiet tears that night, alone in the dark living room. Endured. Because family is family, right? But endurance has limits. The third day, Sarah forgot to unlock it in the morning. I had no clothes, no meds, nothing. When I asked through the door, she laughed. Oops. Coming. But she didn't. Hours passed. My son dismissed it. She's joking, Mom. Joking. That was it. The pain built to a peak. I sat there, hands shaking, remembering every sacrifice. Raising Mark alone after his daddy passed. Working double shifts. And now, reduced to begging for my own room. I didn't yell. No, darling. I got quiet. Real quiet. And in that silence a plan formed. Sweethearts, pause right here with me. Have you ever felt invisible in your own home? Like the walls you painted, the floors you scrubbed, the love you poured in, suddenly belonged to someone else? Maybe it's not a locked door for you. Maybe it's the way your family talks over you at dinner, or forgets to include you in plans, or treats your wisdom like it's old news. If that's you tonight, nod along. You're not alone. I've heard from so many of you. The quiet endurance, the swallowed tears, the moment you realize You deserve better. This story's for every woman who's been pushed aside, dismissed, made to feel small. But what if that locked door was the spark? What if the real twist was how Eleanor fought back? Not with anger, but with something far more powerful. Hang on, because the revenge turns. Oh, they get shocking. And satisfying. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever had to reclaim your space? Your dignity? Share a little. Your story might help another woman feel seen. Now, let's see how Ellie became the genius. Alright, darlings, here come the turns that made my jaw drop when I first heard this tale. After that locked door night, Eleanor didn't scream. No. She waited. Patient as a storm gathering. The next morning, Sarah unlocked the door with a smirk. All better now? Ellie just smiled sweetly. Yes, dear. All better. But inside she'd been busy. See, years ago, Mark's daddy left a trust fund for emergencies for the grandchildren, but with Ellie as trustee, Mark never paid it much mind. Sarah, she didn't even know it existed. First revelation, Ellie quietly called the bank, transferred oversight to herself, fully legal since the papers were in her name. Then she forgot to mention the upcoming family vacation Sarah had planned, using funds from that very account. Sarah had begged Mark for a fancy trip. We deserve it, she'd said. When the bank called to confirm withdrawals, Ellie said no. Politely. Firmly. Sarah's face when Mark told her? Priceless. But we need that money, she cried. Mark looked at his mother, really looked for the first time in years. Second hook. Ellie didn't stop there. She invited the whole family to dinner. Everyone. Cousins, grandkids, even Sarah's parents. Midway through she stood up. I have something to say. She slid a copy of the trust papers across the table. This home, this legacy. It's mine to protect. And since respect seems in short supply, she revealed she'd changed the house deed subtly. Added a clause requiring her approval for any major changes. Sarah went pale. You can't. But the lawyer on speakerphone confirmed. She could. The room exploded. Mark defended his wife at first, then saw his mother's eyes. The same eyes that rocked him to sleep as a boy. He broke. Tears. Apologies. Sarah stormed out. But the final twist? Ellie didn't kick them out. She offered a deal. Respect or the trust fund stays locked. And the bedroom? She kept the key now, but left the door open. A symbol. Revenge, darlings, isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet click of a lock, turned in your favor. And so, my dears, Eleanor reclaimed her home. Her voice, her dignity. Mark came around. He saw the woman who'd given everything, and vowed to do better. Sarah. Well, she learned respect the hard way. They still visit, but now they knock. They listen. The guest room is theirs, but the master? Always Ellie's. This isn't just about a locked door. It's about every woman who's felt pushed aside, invisible, undervalued. We endure so much, quietly, gracefully. But there comes a moment when endurance turns to empowerment. When we say, this far and no further. Ellie grew from that pain. She started a little garden club, shared her story with other widows, reminded them, your life is yours. Your space is sacred. And sometimes the greatest revenge is living well. Head high, heart open, but boundaries firm. So if you're hurting tonight, remember Ellie's key under the door. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning. You are strong. You are worthy. And you are never alone. If this touched you, hit that subscribe button. We share stories like this every day to remind you of your power. Share your own in the comments. Like, share with a friend who needs to hear it. Until next time. Keep your door open to love, but lock it tight against disrespect. God bless you, sweethearts. You're stronger than you know.